SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Are you a business owner looking for help with HR benefits and payroll? MWG Employer Services offers a wide range of services and can create a custom plan that fits your needs and budget.
I was so overwhelmed with HR stuff. MWG Employer Services took all the stress out of it and even set up my payroll. I couldn't be happier. MWG
Employer Services is here to help you succeed. Call us today at 601-206-7966 or go to MWGEmployerServices.com.
You're listening to Sports Talk Mississippi On Demand, presented by Pearl River Resort. Escape to Choctaw, Mississippi and enjoy world-class gaming, the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, and Geyser Falls Water Park. Escape to Pearl River Resort.
Sports Talk Mississippi is on the air. Sports Talk Mississippi is powered by C-Spire. Power your home or business with C-Spire Fiber. To learn more, visit supertalk.fm/C-Spire. C-Spire Fiber powers SuperTalk Mississippi. To the junction, in the Grove, and to the top. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. On your radio and in the game, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
From the house that Richard Cross built, welcome to Sports Talk Mississippi in Oxford. Tuesday afternoon, the Not Fall Camp Tour leg number 3. The closer is here, and we're going to have some fun. Alongside Brian Hadad, I'm Michael Borkey. Got a couple of guys in the studio. Rhino, though, a little bit of a throwback having Rhino with us.
Rhino is seasoned veteran, and then we got the rookie.
And then we got the rookie in there. So a pretty balanced roster today on this edition of the show. And we are going to be busy. We're at the library, the sports bar section of the library.
Yes.
And we want you to come see us. Hadad's got a tab open, so whatever you get, just say you're here for Hadad, and he will cover it.
No, we've got somebody who said yesterday they owe this place like a couple $100. I said, you get that covered for them.
Somebody said that yesterday?
Yeah, they were like, I forgot to pay one time, and can you handle that for me? I was like, yeah, Borkey will get you. So he's got it.
Buddy, I've got the next one beer, and then my card's maxed out. I'm done. Wow. I mean, that's what I got.
You got a lifetime membership to this place.
I do, actually, and it's still the most valuable thing in my wallet, actually.
That's rough.
I mean, it's faded pretty bad. I mean, I still have this.
It's still
thing.
there. It's still good for you.
It is still here.
Yeah.
But there it is right there.
VIP
lifetime member.
Yeah.
So those cover charges on big football weekends, I can bypass.
You just get right through.
Look at me. I'm special.
Big money.
I know, right? Look out.
Yeah.
And then I will, hey, what's the cheapest beer you have, and can I have one of them for the next 3 hours? That's the budget
you see a good-looking guy in the corner nursing a Natty Light. That's Michael Borkey.
That's me. And
on a game day weekend.
When somebody that's cleaning up the bar is walking around with a beer that's like half drank.
I got it.
I'll throw it away for you.
I got it. No problem.
We have got a busy show coming your way. The voice of the Rebels, David Kellum, will join us here in about 12 minutes from right now. Really looking forward to visiting with him. He's a world-class broadcaster and even better person, so we're going to have some fun. He even likes Hadad. So
he does like me, which is crazy.
John Wayne Oliver, I had a chance to catch up with him a little bit earlier and had a great conversation with the Ole Miss offensive lineman who is learning all three positions, center, guard, and tackle. So he's more of a utility man for the Ole Miss offensive line this year. And then we'll visit with Keith Carter, the athletic director of Ole Miss. They made an announcement today. They've got a new field sponsor. He'll sit right here next to us, and we'll talk to him about that.
Well, they already announced that.
So the news broke, and then they announced it today.
The official announcement. Got to have those official announcements.
Yeah, Ole Miss and Georgia getting the same amount of money for the field, by the way.
That's good negotiating.
So we'll talk to him about that, the stadium project, Pete Golding, and more.
Is he bringing my plaque?
See, Glenn Boyce was supposed to join us. He got sick, could not join us.
Yeah, that's a likely story.
I am curious to know what our gift would be.
Hopefully Keith is going to bring it with him.
So Keith he needs to give us something.
Give you? What did you do? I am the greatest Ole Miss booster that ever lived. As soon as I became an Ole Miss booster, look what happened. Look at the success this university had.
I deal with you every day. I feel like that's gift worthy. But Keith will come join us. Javon Patterson going to come join us. Caught up earlier today with Pete Golding. and got a confirmation on the golf match between he and Jeff Lebby. It was mentioned at SEC Media Days. I got some more details on that from Pete Golding. Chris Malloy going to sit down next to us as well, coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. So that's a busy show.
It is.
And we're glad you're with us wherever you are in the great state of Mississippi, and let's do it.
Wherever you are and wherever we are, we're in the Pearl River Resort Studios. Pearl River Resort, book your stay now. And right now, I believe we can give you some stuff from Pearl River Resort if you want it. We've got some one-night stays. We've got some rounds of golf. We've got some free meals. Come by and see us here at the library in Oxford. We'll be happy to give it away to you, PearlRiverResort.com. C Spire text line open to you at 601-879-4395. C Spire has got it all. They've got everything you're looking for, including free stuff, including a free new iPhone 17 or a Samsung Galaxy S26, plus a tablet, plus a smartwatch. It's all part of the Ultimate Connect bundle. All that plus 100 gigs of data. It's only $90. Don't miss out. Visit your local C Spire store today or go to cspire.com. C Spire, inspired by you.
You might have to man the text line, because my text line is asking me to verify the information with the ID of one of our bosses, and I don't presently have her ID, so therefore I will not be able to read text today.
See that right there? So, that's what I got. I got that right there. I got the text line right here. How can I buy Borkey a beer?
You show up. That's how you show up. You come here. You
know what? Hey. Just call the library and say, hey, we want to buy this big gold Adonis some beer. And we can. I'd love to see a show with Tipsy Borkey, if we're being totally honest.
One day we will do that. Today is not that day. I'm fighting off a sinus infection.
Beer will clear that right up.
Or make it worse.
It's good for what ails you.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So the last time we were here at this location, we haven't done a show here
since December now.
Was right before Ole Miss took on Tulane in the playoff.
Correct.
And they won that game handedly, had a comeback victory over Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, had a ball in the end zone, but came up just short against Miami in the semifinal. And you guys know the rest. Pete Golding enters year one as the head coach. Year one, game 4, which is an interesting dynamic there.
Yeah, that's funny. It's first year, but it's his 4th game.
High expectations. They scrimmaged on Sunday. A lot of things that people liked about what happened in the scrimmage. Apparently, Deuce Knight had a nice day as QB2.
Quarterback controversy?
Gosh, you know,
I doubt it.
But there's a lot of pressure and a lot of expectations on this team, and at least, as we've said before, and I think it bears repeating, this does not mean they're going to win a bunch of games or lose a bunch of games or somewhere in between. But since getting the job, Pete Golding has been very comfortable. He has made decisions for his program that look very similar to the previous 6 years. Hiring an offensive coordinator from that tree, he has said very publicly, and John David Baker also said the same thing, I don't care about putting my stamp on anything. I care about winning, and what they have done has worked, and so I'm not going to change much of that. He seems very comfortable in this role. Now, the games start, and that's what really matters.
Correct. And it helps when you have maybe the best quarterback in college football, maybe the best running back in college football.
That does help.
A couple of potential first-rounders on their defense, a top-rated portal class. It helps to have those things as well. So, for Pete Golding, he has got a lot working in his favor going into the season. There's a reason Ole Miss is a preseason top 10 team. There's a reason Ole Miss was predicted 3rd in the SEC when we were at SEC Media Days. I did an interview with Cole Kublik, and he made a really good point. He's like, when you look at Ole Miss, nobody else in the country has what they have in terms of Chambliss and Lacey. Arch Manning's a really good quarterback, but does he have a running back alongside him like Kejuan Lacey? No.
Do not believe
and Ahmad Hardy's a really good running back when he's healthy, but is Austin Simmons on the same level as Trinidad Chambliss? We know for a fact that that's not true.
We've seen that, yeah.
So, Ole Miss is a very unique situation, and that's why, as we discussed yesterday, they're getting the respect that they deserve.
And we'll see if that respect can turn into results. Louisville, week 1, I do ask Pete Golding about that. And a lot of fans, and we often talk about week 3 for a ton of reasons. They don't have the luxury of looking ahead to week 3.
No.
And Pete Golding is very aware of that. And that's refreshing to hear. The classic case of the look-aheads can happen. I don't think that they have the luxury of looking ahead in week 1.
Yeah.
Louisville being ranked, I think, helps a little bit as well. That you can
get your attention.
And more importantly, what he brought up, and Trinidad has brought this up as well, John Wayne Oliver brings it up in our interview, Miami kind of mauled Ole Miss. I know it was a close game, but up front, Miami was better than Ole Miss on both lines of scrimmage. Louisville beat them a season ago.
Yeah.
And so they're going to be able to put that tape on and say, hey, guys, pay attention here, because this team can go beat a team that you couldn't, and that'll help with motivation as well. I'm not concerned about their ability to lock in for that game, but what a compelling matchup. It's the only ranked matchup in Week 1. Did you know that?
I did know that, and it's interesting. Considering how bad the Week 1 slate is, how much this game is flying under the radar.
Yeah.
No one's talking about it. Everybody's looking ahead to Week 3 with Ole Miss.
They are.
Nobody's talking about that they've got this big game in Week 1 against a pretty good ACC team, a really good coach in Jeff Brom. In a good, it's on a Sunday night, so the nation's eyes will be locked on it. And yet no one really seems to be talking about it, and that's kind of odd, but whatever. Here in Mississippi, we're obviously going to be talking a lot about it, and what a big game it is for the Rebels as they, start back on the path to another trip to the college football playoff.
I was looking at flights to go to that game instead of
beer
driving.
Flights?
No beer flights.
Okay.
Although, again, whoever was texting, you come in here and just say, hey, Dad, and there will be a flight on Hey Dad for you.
No, that's inaccurate.
The great David Kellum will join us when we come back. All guests today, and there will be a ton of them, will appear on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. It's the Not Fall Camp Tour. Come by and see us. The Library Sports Bar in Oxford. Students are slowly starting to trickle back in. The town is still a little bit summer sleepy, and I bet the locals are a little frustrated that time is coming to an end.
I'm sure they are.
Are on their way back.
Yes.
David Kellum already here. He's going to sit down with us next.
I get my loving on the run. I'm a picker, I'm a grinner, I'm a lover, and I'm a sinner. I play my music in the sun. I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight.
In the Venable Glass.
What we're going to do right here is go back.
And now back to the sports. This is Sports Talk Mississippi.
So let's get rolling
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
It's the Not Fall Camp Tour presented by our friends at Pearl River Resort. Michael Borkey, Brian Hadad. Now David Kellum, voice of the Ole Miss Rebels. Hadad, I don't know if you noticed, he came prepared. He's got his
notes.
Notebook.
He's good to
go.
go.
The laminated roster.
I came from
already.
a different location, so I thought if you guys ask me something I can't answer at this point of the season, I can look it up.
All right, so there's a scrimmage on Sunday. Tell us everything that we're not allowed to know.
No, I'm not going there. I've been to a few practices, and it's been fun to see, but gosh, it's been hot. Holy smokes. And, I think, don't the high schools have this like 90 to 92 degree bulb thing?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I talked to a guy the other day, said some high schools haven't even had a chance to practice yet. So
wow.
Here's what you need to do, Borky. Go build an indoor facility for high schools. Charge them a little bit to come, and all the high schools come to your indoor facility.
That's a great idea. I know you guy that does a golf simulator for that for golf teams.
Yeah,
we go.
You and Hadad could do that. We could call it I don't know. Hadad will have to take prime building. Hadad Borky indoor facility for high schools.
I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do.
But, it's been kind of crazy. It's been one of those hot summers, but guys, they're fighting it, trying to get ready for the upcoming season.
So on that note, you've been to practices for a lot of coaches over the years. What is the difference between a Pete Golding practice and a Lane Kiffin practice, and compare those to other coaches as well that you've seen?
I think very similar. I mean, it's real quick. You used to have the two-a-days. You could kill them and stay out there for 9 hours. Those days are over with. So you've got to be very, very efficient. I think most of the coaches across the country are, every minute. You don't want a wasted minute. You don't want a wasted second. You want to move from point to point. Coach Beard on our basketball side is one of the best I've ever seen. It's amazing how quickly they work through practice, and they go back over to video, and they look at video and go back something that you did wrong in practice the day before. And so I think all of our sports have gotten to the point where it's just really quick hitting, boom, 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 boom. The main thing about football is a lack of physicality. I mean, it's just amazing where, you used to beat each other up, and they don't even do that in the spring a whole lot anymore because you're trying to protect players. And so you see, I think when you get in the season a little bit, you'll see kind of people trying to catch up to the physicality piece of the game.
when you think about all your time as the voice of the Rebels, is this the most preseason excitement that you can remember?
Yeah, there's been some others. The Eli era. I mean, there was a couple of times with Eli that we had high hopes and just barely failed to move maybe one more rung up the ladder. But the people are just going crazy. We've already won 12 games, and chill now. Here's what's crazy. I think we've improved some depth in some areas. We're better, maybe overall team than we were last year, which is scary because that was a fantastic team a year ago. But the flip side is you look at the schedule and you go, woo. In this league, and you guys know it, you can't just start checking off SEC wins. We got to go to Oklahoma again, and most people say, we beat them last year. Yeah, but now we got to do it again. And so the ninth game in the SEC, all those things I'm sure you guys have been talking about all summer, all of those are real. And so there's going to be a bunch of SEC teams, I think, that can be right in there, that 9-3 range, and how does it compare to an 11-1, 10-2 somewhere else? All those are real problems with the 12-team playoff coming up.
I think I've talked that into the ground with
yeah.
my displeasure of the SEC not getting an expanded playoff if you're going to go to 9 games. But is this team equipped to handle that?
I think so. And it goes back to depth. You think about the 2014 for Ole Miss, the defensive front ran 8 or 9 guys. And by the end of the game, we were still real fresh. And that was my first time in my career to see that kind. Most time at Ole Miss, we got 2 defensive linemen. I hope they don't get hurt. Yeah. It's been that kind of thing. Just not a lot of depth on the defensive front. Last year, we dropped down just a little bit, and that was a good indication for me. We went to like a 6-7 rotation. We're going to be back to maybe an 8-9 again this year. And it just makes all the difference in the world. I think that that's one of the most important things, and that's how the portal has helped a program like Ole Miss. We've been able to go out and improve depth maybe where we couldn't do that in years past.
Ole Miss is a program that's had a lot of great quarterbacks through the years, going all the way back. I mean, even back before Archie Manning. Where does Trinidad Chambliss rank for you among those guys?
Trinidad, it's really weird. We went last year to go watch him. He's going to be the backup quarterback. If Austin Simmons doesn't pan out, can this guy do it? So we're watching him in practice, and he makes a good out-route pass, and he throws a deep ball, and he breaks and runs. Gosh, he can run pretty good, too. Yeah, he'll be all right. And then Austin gets hurt. Next thing you know, you're seeing him in real time, and hey, this is your team now. You got to. And he just didn't give the job up. It was amazing, but I think that he's got to be in that upper group. I mean, we've had some incredible quarterbacks through the years, but Trinidad brings a uniqueness to the table. I think the pro game now that lets the quarterbacks run a little bit more. He's going to have a chance on the next level too. He's not the tallest guy in the world, but he makes all the throws. He finds the windows, and very confident, great kid. He's up there with the good ones for sure.
The run of quarterbacks at this school, it doesn't go every year because you have to skip a couple, of course, but you go from Snead, and then even the Masoli year, the team wasn't good, but he was great.
He was fantastic. Yeah.
Then you go to Bo Wallace, then you go to Chad Kelly, then you have Jordan Ta'amu. If you look at his stats, he was spectacular. Yeah. And then Matt Corral, Jackson Dart, and now Trinidad Chambliss. That transcends multiple coaches. It's just the quarterback position at this place has been awesome.
Yeah, it has been. It's been unique. I think that the Manning input years ago kind of put us in that frame of mind. We're always trying to have the next Archie, to be honest with you. I go back to Archie. Yeah. Some people say, well, next Eli. It's next Archie, In fact, I had a call last year when Trinidad was scrambling, did a double scramble. I said, he looks like Archie. I know half the fans thought, who's he talking about? But
I don't think that, David. Come on.
You don't think that?
No.
But, I think that it's been unique, the number of, outstanding quarterbacks. The running back string has been good, but it kind of skips more years. When you start with Deuce and some of the ones we've had through the years. But the QB position has been really good at Ole Miss.
And that coincides with wide receiver because can do the same thing at the wide receiver position.
We go back further than Treadwell, you go to Moncrief and even that. So.
Yeah. Right.
Tomorrow is August the 19th. So we'll be 1 month away from what's going to be the game in college football. What is, for you, the most intense atmosphere you've ever called over at Vaught-Hemingway that will be replaced on September the 19th number one?
There's been several. I can't really place it on one. We've had some other LSU games that have been.
I was thinking 03 was the first one that came to mind.
Off the charts. Alabama, we beat Alabama. when we got the interception in the end zone, they had to look at it for 25 minutes, on the replay. It was a super loud game. A lot of the Egg Bowls have been really, really loud. But this might be the new one.
Yeah, I think it will be.
This could be it. I mean, it's a hard ticket. People are really excited about it. I know our athletic department doesn't want us really to be talking about that. We need to talk about Louisville, but that's coach speak. We can talk about
we can
game we want to.
Yeah.
We can talk about whichever one.
I'm not beholden to Keith Carter.
No. And so it'll be really interesting. And the bottom line is going to be a heck of a game. And being this early is kind of mind-blowing, too, to be the first SEC game, third game of the year. But LSU better be concerned about Clemson. We better be concerned about Louisville right now. But past that coach speak, that's going to be an unbelievable day. I mean, it's going to be unbelievable.
What is your favorite venue to call a game in? Not necessarily your favorite game, but your favorite place to go call a game.
As far
it's
as
not here, obviously.
the league goes, minus Ole Miss, we get comfortable at home. I mean, you just go in there, the stuff's set
There's
up.
so much routine.
Houston sets up all the equipment. We just walk in and do our thing.
That's how we feel when we come to these remotes.
We do that to him on the road, too. But
does he pick up the tab for y'all on the road?
Yeah. Georgia, LSU, it's hard to really eliminate one. Some of the craziest atmosphere has been in Starkville just because of the cowbells and the hatred of Ole Miss and yada, yada. So there's been some...
What?
Yeah, I mean...
Me?
You.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You're just one booth over, too. I mean,
I got...
last year at the Egg Bowl, I was having a conversation with... It was you and Houston and somebody else from Ole Miss. I forget who it was. And when I came back over, Robbie Falk, who's no longer with us, was just like, what are you doing over there talking to these guys? I'm like, I know David. I know Houston. What do you want me to do?
It bothers people, though, doesn't
it? Does. People
really
get on me every now and then, yeah.
I put up a little thing on X about Mary and I having our 46th wedding anniversary. She is a saint. But anyway.
Most patient woman ever.
Absolutely. But she controls the family, and I just say, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
But past all of that, some state fan came on there and said, hey, happy anniversary, Kellum. He called me Kellum, like they do. And he said, you probably got a good family, but I hope you lose every game. So I thought, well, at least he wished me happy anniversary.
You got the first part of that. It was fine.
And that you probably have a good family. There's a quality.
Probably.
Yeah, you probably do.
But it's
that was not my burner.
Back to the venue thing. Most of them are really, really cool. I think the places that pop out are obviously Tennessee and Alabama and Go to State and LSU.
What do you think about these neutral site games that you've got? You're going to be calling one here in a few weeks when you go to Nashville. Are you a fan of those, or would you prefer to see home and home?
I'd rather be at home. I mean, I really would. But they turn out to be good once you get there and you start calling the game and you see kind of a balance in the fan base and all. Those are fun. They've been good through the years. It's just something about being at home and having that advantage. You hate to give up is one thing. But we're not going to Louisville, at least.
Yeah, it's a shame the stadium's not done. You would be able to break in the new radio booth.
I was there. You're going to break. I was there for the Alan Jackson concert and saw the new stadium going up.
Nice.
Oh, my gosh, it is monstrous. But in the meantime, it's going to be a mess trying to get in and out of the old one.
That's the great David Kellum, voice of the Ole Miss Rebels. When we come back, my conversation with John Wayne Oliver, offensive lineman at Ole Miss. It's a two-parter, so you'll hear part number one when we return. It's the Not Fall Camp Tour from the library in Oxford. Come by and see us. Hey, Dad, we'll buy you a beer. We'll be back.
From the Seabrook Paint.
Communication system is a go. Go!
This is Sports Talk Mississippi, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Exactly.
It's the Not Fall Camp Tour, stop number 3. We are in Oxford, joined now by Ole Miss offensive lineman John Wayne Oliver in the middle of training camp, and let's start here. Are you still having fun, or have you crossed into the point where you're kind of miserable and hoping the season just gets here?
Yeah, you've gotten to that point. We're about halfway there. You just got to keep on going, man, but it's going good so far.
So physically, how you feeling? I know in the past you've battled some injury stuff, and camp is a grind, and especially the position you play is a grind. Like, are you extra tired? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good right now. Yeah, I got injured last year, but I was able to do spring ball. I did all spring ball this spring, and I've done all fall camp so far. I haven't missed anything.
So let's go back to the end of last season. The reality in your sport now is guys leave places. You were a high-profile recruit out of high school. You had a coaching change, and you did not entertain the transfer portal. You stayed right where you are. Why did you choose to stay at Ole Miss?
This place has been good to me, and I didn't feel like I felt like I was wanted here, and I didn't want to go anywhere else.
And so now in comes John David Baker. Had a chance to visit with Trinidad and Kiwan at SEC Media Days, and they described the offense as mostly the same but a little bit different. From an offensive line perspective, what is some similarities that you can share anyway and differences in this offense under John David Baker?
Pretty much nail on the head on that one. It's the exact same, I feel like. It wasn't a big change for me because I've played every position so far since I've been here, so it was smooth sailing for me.
And your offensive line coach, John Garrison, stayed. I'm sure that helps as well. Are they, if you're allowed to share this, I may be putting you on the spot. Are you working, you said multiple positions, or is that still something that they're working on with you? If you need to play center, you can do it. If you need to play guard, tackle, all of them, you can do them all?
Yeah, I can do them all, but I'm mainly working guard right now, but anything can happen. I know how to play all of them, and I've done it.
Is that difficult? And how difficult is that position by position? Because an idiot like me looks at the offensive line, and, well, it's the offensive line, but how different is center versus guard versus tackle and how you have to learn and play all three positions?
For me, like, I was playing left tackle my freshman year, 2024. I was just, like, very depth chart, though. Then I got moved to center for fall camp. And I was like, oh, God. And I was a backup center. And, like, playing center, if you can play center, you can play all the other positions because you know everyone else's job. So it's helped me playing center. I can play everything.
So a lot of, I guess, studying more so than anything else, making sure that you know exactly what to do. Which is the hardest one?
Run blocking, guard, pass blocking, tackle. Center, you got to be like that. You can't, like, you have to be very smart to play center. Like Bryson, our center, he's a very smart guy.
Well, good to know. So I guess technically they would call you a smart guy. See, I could never play center. I would be in big trouble. So you go up against the defense in practice every day. There's been a lot made about how deep this defensive line room is. You can't say Will Eccles. Who is the most difficult defensive lineman on the team besides the projected first-round pick in Will Eccles?
I'd say either the new Florida transfer D-tackle, Mackay, and JB, Jamarius Brown. So,
Mackay, saw a video from practice. That is a mountain of a human being.
He's big.
I mean, I imagine. So what is that competition like, by the way, when you guys go up against a defensive line? I know it's a nasty game, but, like, are you guys buddies, or is it in practice? It's like, I'm trying to bury this guy in the ground, and I'm not friendly with him until we get into the locker room. What's that dynamic like between your unit and their unit across from you?
It's like what you said. You're not friends on the field, but when we get in the locker room, we're teammates. We're cool. No one remembers what happened on the field when we get in the locker room.
So a little bit of scuffling happens, or are you allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, it does happen a lot.
What does John Garrison think about that? Because some NFL coaches, they want it just a little bit. Maybe not necessarily punches flying, but a little after play shoving is something they encourage. Does John Garrison like that?
I mean, if something happens between two people, you can't have the other lineman come and, like, hit him from the back because that'll start a massive brawl. If two guys get into it, they have to stay. You can't just bring everyone into it. That's how people get hurt.
Your quarterback, he's a veteran. He's getting a ton of attention and all of that. How do you think he is handling this offseason where not only is he the guy, but ESPN's coming in to do features on him. He's getting Heisman odds. How does he handle all that?
Oh, he's handled it probably the best as you can because, when I met Trinidad May of 2025, he just walked in their weight room, introduced himself to me. I didn't know who he was. I don't know if y'all knew who he was, but this time.
Not really. Honestly, no.
Yeah, I was a second team center during fall camp, so he was my quarterback, so I was able to get to know him pretty well, and he's handled it great.
And now, so your role, by the way, one more thing on your role, you're getting prepared to play a lot of positions. Are you expected to take a step forward in terms of playing time and things like that this season?
Yeah, yes, sir.
And are you ready for that?
Oh, yeah, I've been ready.
So I was looking at your bio, by the way, that this made me laugh. I don't remember this happening, but you may, or it may be a typo. You were credited for a tackle last season.
Yeah.
Do you remember your tackle?
Yeah, I was against the first Tulane game because I'm on the punt shield. I'm going to do that again this year, but I protect the punter. I'm on the front line, and Oscar punted it, and the punter made a couple guys miss, and the punter was running down the sideline. I just decked him out of bounds.
See, why don't I remember that? I can't believe I don't remember that, but. Yeah. Obviously you liked it, right? Making a tackle was a lot of fun.
I played D-line in high school. I could do it.
Do you miss it?
Playing defense? No.
Yeah. You don't? No. Why
not? That's not for me. I'm not a good enough athlete to play D-line.
So your team brought in some transfers on the offensive line, most especially at tackle, but some on the interior as well. What do you and a guy like Bryson that have been with the program for a little while, do you take it upon yourselves to help them acclimate to the program? What's that bonding like with your offensive line unit?
Oh, we brought in some good guys. We brought in a guy named Troy Everett from Oklahoma, who's his 6th year. He's played a lot of football. So we have guys like that. Tommy, Carius, Enoch, all those guys are pretty good dudes. So it's been easy. We didn't really have to do much with them.
What do you guys do? Out of curiosity, do you guys hang out? You grill out? Do you guys go play golf? I asked Kiwan about golf. Apparently he plays golf. Do you guys too?
Oh, they play golf. I'm not a big golfer. I'd rather go fishing or shoot guns. But we went to the whole line in Trinidad, and the running backs went to eat a couple of weeks ago before fall camp started.
Hopefully he paid, considering his life is in your hands, right?
Yeah, he got the bill.
He better. He's also he's taking it a little bit more these days, so he can help you guys out. All right, so you like to go fishing, you like to hunt. You just walk on a golf course, go to a bass pond. When you're fishing in the area, where do you go?
Here, shoot, you can't find nothing here. I'd go to Wells Gate, but then they kick me out. That's the only place I know of around here. I go to Sardis, and you're not going to catch nothing unless you have a boat at Sardis.
I'm telling you, I used to go to Wells Gate and go fishing and would get kicked out at Wells Gate all the time.
I parked and I get kicked out. I get out of my apartment. Yeah.
I feel like the athletic department, we're visiting with Keith later today. This is airing on Tuesday. And I'm going to tell Keith, the football team should get a free pass to, the local ponds. Just, hey, I'm on the football team. Let me go fishing here.
Yes, I would love that.
Yeah, and we need to get you a boat, man. Get you out to Sardis, catch those big old catfish. Have you? You ever been noodling?
No. I know what it is though. I've gone catfishing a lot, but I've never noodled. I don't know if I want to lose my thumb.
They do that out there at Sardis. People, I have and I don't know if the bathtubs are still out there, but I know a guy that used to submerge bathtubs in Sardis and use those as catfish holes. We need to get you out there.
Yeah, I'd go.
So going into this season, a lot of hype and expectations, but you have a really quality opponent in week 1 in Louisville. What has been, have you guys started working on Louisville? Have you watched some film? What are the coaches saying about your week 1 opponent in Nashville?
Yeah, they're a good team. They beat Miami last year, and Miami beat us. So, we've been looking at them already, but they're going to be a good team to play against week 1. These past 2 years I've been here, we've had cakewalks first 2 weeks.
Yeah. Because there's been so much talk about, the SEC opener LSU in week 3, but, like you said it's a team that beat Miami last year. That you're meeting on a neutral site, that's a huge game and a great opportunity for you guys. It's the Not Fall Camp Tour, stop number 3. We are in Oxford, joined now
in Talk Mississippi. Sports Talk Mississippi.
Do you ever get so excited that you just can't wait?
Sports Talk Mississippi, covering your Mississippi team.
I've been waiting my whole life for this.
Don't touch that dial! Here on Super Talk Mississippi.
It's the Not Fall Camp Tour. Michael Borkey, Brian Hadad. We're at the library in Oxford. Come by and see us. Brought to you by our friends at Pearl River Resort. Here is part number 2 of my conversation with Ole Miss offensive lineman John Wayne Oliver right now.
Not practicing or playing football and not shooting guns and fishing. When you're looking to just disconnect, what does John Wayne Oliver do?
I have a massive vinyl collection of country music records. I love
music.
It's probably, I love listening to music, watching movies.
Is it new stuff, though? Is it like Jelly Roll, or are we talking the good stuff?
No, Jelly Roll. See, my dad managed George Jones and booked Hank Jr. for 30 years. So
wow.
Because I'm from Nashville.
So tell me about that. Did you get to kind of be around that when you were a kid? What was that like?
No, whenever I was born, he quit doing all of that because he wanted to be around me more. So
okay,
yeah.
But you still got the taste of it. Well, what's your record player like? Is it one of those little desktop ones, or do you have like a really
it's
old
right over
school?
here. It's pretty big. I've got about 150 vinyls.
150. So is it all country, or do you kind of branch out a little bit?
I've got some Leonard Skinner, just like Southern rock. I've got ZZ Top. I like Otis Redding. He's
nice.
soul.
Man,
Booker T and the MGs.
go.
Bob Seger. Trying to think anything that's not country.
If you said Bob Seger to every player on your team, how many of them would respond knowing who that is?
Oh, probably like 4 or 5 people.
I think he's the most underrated rock musician of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he should have the career that Springsteen had. I think Springsteen is worth like 10 times more net worth than Seeger, and I think that's just a crime.
Yeah, Springsteen's a little too outspoken.
Oh, man. So a vinyl collection. I've gotten to interview many players over the years. I don't think any of them have said that answer. It's mostly like, I play Xbox or hang out with my girlfriend.
Jaden Williams helped me get started, too. He had
really?
He had a huge collection, way bigger than mine. He probably had 500 of them.
So vinyl's making a comeback with young people.
Okay.
I know there's a great record shop there in Oxford. I assume you...
Yeah, I've been 20, 30 times. And the antique store's got a bunch of them. The one by Jinsei.
Yeah.
Depot.
Man, we need to get them to hook you up with an NIL deal. There's a missed business opportunity here.
Yeah.
And I got to ask, I know it's cheesy. I bet everybody asks, but you're a member of the all-name team. And I mean, is that a direct, you're named after the actor? Is that how that happened?
Partially. My dad's Wayne and my grandpa was John. And my dad, he's older. He's in his 70s. So he got to meet John Wayne a couple times, like the actual actor John Wayne. He was his hero growing up. So he said if he had a son, he's going to name him after me. Or name him after him.
Your running back room, the guys behind you. So we asked you about Trinidad. We all know about Keewan. What are some of the other guys, whether it be Mills Knight, who was there, and you brought a handful of others via portal. Who stands out to you from that room?
Oh, yeah, we got a lot of depth, like way more than that. Like since I've been here, the deepest room we've had. Frazier from Michigan State's really good. JT Lindsley's really good. We got Dye, he's good too. Mills Knight, like all these guys can easily play.
And your coach has said often that it seems like you guys are a group of guys that really like each other, that it's a team that really enjoys just being around each other. Why do you think that is?
Because of what we went through last year, and connected, like all the guys that are still here, like we bonded pretty well over like all that adversity, and so I think that's why.
And I mean, people use that word, there's all these training camp buzzwords, get 1% better, building culture and all that. But clearly that matters. When you say that right there, you bonded over having to go through that kind of stuff. I mean, that contributes to winning, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Well, man, I really appreciate your time. I know you're in the dog days of camp right now, and
yeah, I'm on my lunch break.
I mean, I'm surprised you didn't want to just take a nap instead of do this, but we really appreciate you. Good luck this season, and this was really great. So we appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, welcome back to the library. That was John Wayne Oliver on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau.
We are here at the Not Fall Camp Tour in Oxford at the library. We are presented by our friends at Pearl River Resort, pearlriverresort.com. What's up on Sports Talk Mississippi? We're about to sit down with Ole Miss Athletic Director Keith Carter. He just walked in the door. Don't forget, Tuesday, September the 15th, we'll be at Ag Up in Canton for their Deer Season Customer Appreciation event, broadcasting the show live. Great afternoon and evening for customers, hunters, landowners, and anyone who enjoys the outdoors. Burgers from starting at 5:30, and then free country music from the Honky Tonk Playboys. That's, again, Borkey's high school nickname. Local vendors, giveaways, outdoor industry partners, and a lot more. Tuesday, September the 5th, from 3 until 8 at Ag Up Equipment, 160 Calhoun Commerce Park Drive in Canton. Come by, see us, spend the evening with Ag Up. We'll be back in just a minute here at the library. It's the Not Fall Camp Tour presented by Pearl River Resort. Ole Miss Athletic Director Keith Carter will join us momentarily.
The innocent slips away.
I listen to it at work.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Sports Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Did you get that memo?
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi from the library in Oxford, the Not Fall Camp Tour, brought to you by our friends at Pearl River Resort. I'm Michael Borkey. He is Brian Hadad, and now the head man for Ole Miss Athletics, Keith Carter, joining us right now.
Last time we were here, they were chanting your name. What happened?
I know. Today,
approval rating down.
Not so many showed up.
Guess, yeah.
But we got the right people here today.
Yeah.
So it's good. That's good.
Last time we visited with you on this show in this spot, your football team is getting ready to play in the playoff. And everybody knows the story of what has happened since. They win 2 games, Pete Golding, everything that has come with it. What have you observed from the day you made him head coach to now that makes you confident that Pete Golding is the right guy for this job?
Yeah, I think it's kind of layered. I think, one, he just did a phenomenal job during that period. One, just holding the team together, holding the staff together, going through signing day, just a lot of things that he did, in that kind of 4 to 6 week period, through that playoff run, which was incredible. But I think, that was all just kind of out of necessity. It's like, we have to do this, we have to make this happen, and we'll kind of worry about, the rest later from a coaching standpoint. But, kind of from spring ball on, just seeing the way he's managed the program, the way he put, kind of the full staff together for the long term, the way he's interacted with the donors, the way he's, made it a player's first team, all those type of things. It's just been really fun to see. And, I've said it before, it wasn't surprising at all, but it was just impressive, and he's continued to do that. I was actually out at practice today and, looking at the guys running around and all the talent that's out there on this team. So just excited for him and, really excited for him now to have kind of his team. Not that wasn't his team last year, but, kind of his first full team that, with him being the head coach for the full season and all those things. But, couldn't be more excited about him and the rest of the staff and obviously this team.
Yeah, the word we've been using a lot, and you saw it a good bit at media days, was comfort. He just and I don't think that's surprising, knowing Pete Golding and what kind of coach he was and what kind of person he was before he became the head coach. But this is maybe one of the coaches in the SEC who's the most comfortable just being himself.
No question. And you love that about him. What you see is what you get. And, the thing about Pete is he's turned down head coaching jobs. Like, he's been ready to be a head coach. I mean, people have offered him jobs in the past, and, he was just very comfortable in his role as defensive coordinator and loved being here in Oxford and those type of things. So, again, no doubt he's going to be really good at head coaching. And obviously, first year, there's things we all learn in the first year and the second year and all those type of things. But very comfortable and, just a great fit for us. I think that's a big part of it, too. Fit's always a huge thing.
Something you have to do a lot is deal with spreadsheets and dollars and cents. What does a playoff run into the semifinal do for your athletic department financially?
Well, there's a lot of revenue associated with it, obviously, when you host the home game and you get the CFP stipend and all of those things. But there's a lot of expense with it, too, especially when you travel. When we traveled to New Orleans, obviously we could do some things a little more efficiently and economically with it being only 5 hours away. But when you travel out to Arizona and you're putting, obviously, the team on a plane, the band on the plane, the cheerleaders on the plane, all those things. We ended up making some money off of that run, but not as much as you would think at the end of the day. But the home game was great. We probably netted $3 or $4 million there. But when you travel, you're eating into that stipend pretty quickly. But again, that's all part of it. And again, it's not necessarily earth-shattering money bottom line. But the goodwill and obviously the brand components of all that, obviously a huge thing.
Did you feel yourself validated while they, especially after the Sugar Bowl, they beat Tulane, but they beat Tulane earlier in the season. They go to the Sugar Bowl and win. Did that validate you in your decision-making and process?
Well, one, I wasn't really looking for validation. I think that we always are going to make the decisions that we think are best for the department. And, obviously with everything that went on during that period, we felt like, the first decision we made was the right one to not let the previous coach in the playoff. And knowing that Pete was right there in our building and Pete was on our radar the entire time, that we were basically, having a coaching search in a parallel path with the season, we knew Pete was ready. And, sure, the success, makes everything work out really well, and to win those games was awesome. But, whether we had done that or not, I think the decision was the right one, and I think that will play out this year. That'll play out in the future that he's the right guy for our program.
There's so many stories right now in college sports where you're just like, I don't know if bad is the right word, but you just don't want to read them. And then there's Trinidad Chambliss, who's a great story. On 3 Sports yesterday, said he's the face of college football, which is an incredible 365-day journey from him, from where he was just the backup here at Ole Miss and nobody really knew who he was, to now he's he may be the best quarterback in college football. What kind of young man is that, and how kind of representative for Ole Miss is he?
Well, I've said that all along. Everybody sees, how spectacular he is on the field and the plays that he makes and those type of things. But where I'm so much more impressed with him is the type of person that he is, the guy he is in the locker room, the guy he is in the community. The guy he is that when you're walking across campus, always says hello, shakes your hand, says yes, sir, no, sir. Just a great young man, the type that you want in this position, the type that you want, one, for himself to get this publicity and, all of these accolades, but two, for your institution. That's exactly the combination that you want. So, I love that. And we got a lot of those on this team. There's just a lot of good young men, and, the locker room has a great culture, and, excited about that. But he's certainly the leader of all that for sure.
There's a game coming up this season. Now, talked to Pete Golding earlier. He's all in on Louisville, but we don't have to be all in on Louisville. We can talk about anything. We asked Greg Sankey at Media Days about extra preparation for that game. What are you guys doing?
We're talking about the Charlotte game.
Yeah, the Charlotte. Week 1.
That's the one I thought you were talking about.
Yeah. They're doing a stadium renovation themselves. It's a program on the rise.
The Niners.
But are you guys doing anything special? What's that look like to make sure that game goes off without a hitch?
Yeah, again, we certainly, have to be ready for games 1 and games 2, and we will be. But, for us, from an administrative standpoint, a community standpoint, it's going to be probably the biggest college football game maybe this entire year. We'll see how it all plays out, and at least from a hype standpoint, an eyeball standpoint, actual people in town standpoint. We're going to make sure that we're prepared. We've hosted other huge games and had big crowds, and the volume of people will be similar to some of those big games we played in the past. But obviously, a lot surrounding the game and those type of things. So we'll be ready. Depending on what media outlets are in town and all of that, we'll be ready for that too. So, we'll try to treat it as another game, but knowing that maybe need to pay a little more attention to some of the storylines along with that one.
So let's get away from football for just a minute. The Tad Smith Coliseum has gone away. and that's a place where you had a lot of your memories here at Ole Miss. Just for you, what were the emotions of that like?
Yeah, it's interesting because that building, we haven't used it now for about 10 years, which is hard to believe. The other part of that is not only did I, back then we only had one gym, so everybody practiced there. The men and the women, not only played there but practiced there. The volleyball team practiced there and played there. Now everybody has their own space, but tons of time there for me. But my daughter's a cheerleader here, and that's where they had their home turf and their locker rooms and all that stuff. So she spent the last 2 years in there as a cheerleader. So for the Carter family, we spent a lot of time in there and had a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So, bittersweet, but certainly, from a campus standpoint, a building that was becoming very hard to manage and very expensive building to manage. So it's coming down, and it'll become a parking lot for a while. And the long-term plan is for that to become some really cool, really cool space there, similar to the Circle over on the other side of campus. So, got to have progress, obviously, but bittersweet for sure for me.
You auctioning off the seats that still existed in there? What are you doing with those?
We gave folks an opportunity for several months before the construction fence went up to kind of make arrangements to go in and get things and do different things. But since some of the pictures and the videos have come out over the past few days, I've gotten several calls about seats, and I'm like, hey, it's too late. Sorry, we've turned it over to the demolition company. We did take the floor out, which was cool. We got that in storage right now. We're hoping to do some really cool things with that for former players, donors, those type of things. So hopefully we can get more information on that in the future.
I'll get one for you.
I know I'm a big guy, but that is the most uncomfortable seat I've ever sat in. Gosh, the Tad Smith Coliseum.
Tight in there for sure.
It was tight, just like this the whole game. Some good memories from me, but some bad ones too. And you were part of some of those bad ones. I have to give you credit for that. So, from a facility standpoint, I guess we only have about 90 seconds left here. We'll save this so you can think about it during the break. But there's such a fine balance now between you're asking your fans to do so much, and players has got to be the number one thing you ask them about. How do you continue to keep facilities at the level that you want to keep them at? You've got a state-of-the-art facility at the Pavilion. Swayze Field, still a state-of-the-art facility. Vaught Hemingway, there's still a lot of stuff going on over there.
We'll ask him about that.
We are going to ask him about that as well. But that's the thing that I don't envy you and Zach Selman and Jeremy McClain and all the rest of the athletic direction of this conference, because everybody's got a budget. And, man, it's got to be a tough ask nowadays, especially when you're talking about the projects away from NIL. So we'll talk about that when we come back. Keith Carter, Director of Athletics here at Ole Miss, will joining us here. We're on the Not Fall Camp Tour. The final stop, we're presented by Pearl River Resort. We're at the library here in Oxford, just right off the square. And if you want to come by and say hello and get an ice-cold beverage, Borkey will be happy to buy that for you. So come out, say hello. We'll be back in just a minute here on Sports Talk Mississippi, the Not Fall Camp Tour, presented by Pearl River Resort.
Tolling on the iron bell calls the faithful to their knees. You hear the softly spoken magic spell.
In the Venable. Can you feel it? Can you hear it? Sports Talk Mississippi. Yeah! On Super Talk Mississippi.
Something like that.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi, from the library in Oxford. Borkey Hadad, and continuing on with Keith Carter, AD at Ole Miss.
Before we go any further, I just want to know, what kind of recognition am I supposed to get as the greatest booster in Ole Miss history? Now, y'all have years of playing sports. Millions of dollars have been donated. Nada. I show up with my money, and college football playoff, SEC champs in golf, College World Series. I want a plaque, something. What do I get?
How about we will, if you will come to the game, we'll put you on the sideline in an Ole Miss jersey, and you can become an Ole Miss fan starting today.
Ooh, that's too much recognition. That's too much.
We'll roll out the red carpet if you'll switch fandoms.
I was talking about this the other day on my podcast about how well I'm treated when I come to Oxford. I was like, they're recruiting me. These guys, they're trying to flip me. They've been flipping up MSU people all these years.
That's exactly it.
That $100 went just a long way.
I made it stretch. Now, Richard is now a donor to Mississippi State, though.
Okay.
So we'll see how. My guess is we'll have the worst year ever because of his mojo. So,
speaking of being on the field, went official announcement today. Progressive going to be on the field. I did notice, by the way, the logos fit nicely on the field. You got some that really stand out, and it almost like it kind of fit with the aesthetic of the field. But what is that deal like? How does that get done? Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, obviously that became a thing a couple years ago, became legal to do, and last year at the end of the season we had Aflac on the field for one game, kind of in just a one-off deal, and it's been something we've really been looking for the past couple of years, and finally found a great partner in Progressive. Learfield, our multimedia rights partner, helped with that relationship, and we were able to get that done. Us and Georgia, the only two schools in the SEC for that. So we're excited about that. Obviously, financially, it's very helpful. It's a 3-year deal, which will be nice for us. The jersey patch is the next thing. We're looking for that, and you've seen that. I think Tennessee maybe announced today for their men's and women's basketball team that they found one, but I think there's only 3 or 4 teams in the SEC that have jersey patches. So, but as we've talked about, the budgets and stretching dollars and finding new dollars, that's what it's all about now. And so, but to your point, like we wanted to find a partner that made sense, that looked good on the field. You wasn't a gaudy logo out there and those type of things, because I've kind of joked before that we certainly want to find the revenue. We don't necessarily want to become NASCAR where you just got logos everywhere. Nothing against NASCAR, but I think we did well here, and the logo on the field looks really good.
Nothing Monster Energy.
Is that deal that with the Egg Bowl with Facebook, is that a 2-year deal? Will that be for the Egg Bowl this year as well?
It will, yeah. We'll still be able to do that. I believe that logo will be more at the 50-yard line,
last year,
and so it was obviously there at State last year, and it'll be on our field this year.
Okay.
Next thing, the stadium project, the entertainment district. People have been hoping to see renderings. What's the timeline on that? When are people going to get to see what you guys are working on, and what's the update there?
Yeah, well, one, we're really excited about that project. We're in the process now with the preferred partner of getting through the contract stage and through the procurement stage and those type of things. Obviously, there's IHL approval. There's some steps that we still have to take. So I don't know that renderings and those type of things will be coming out anytime soon, but we are making a ton of progress on that. That project is full go. We just got to kind of get through some of the red tape and those type of things. But I think it's really going to transform that district there. And now with the pavilion and the North End Zone project, the new STEM building, the Lloyd Bell Tower, all of those things right there, kind of coming out of the Grove toward the stadium. It's going to be a really special space. So excited about that, and hopefully more to come.
Ask Zach Zellman the same question. The Save College Sports Act did not even come up for a vote. Even if it does, there are some people that think it won't pass regardless. Are you in the place now, like your colleague in Knoxville, where you want to move past Congress and start talking about collective bargaining? Where are you after seeing that whole process play out and it fail at the final hour?
Yeah, and I don't know that it's totally dead yet, but I've never thought that the federal government was going to be the one to save college athletics. I do think we've got to get in a room with the ADs, with the commissioners, and figure out a solution for this. And there were some things in that bill that I thought were really good. There was tons of loopholes in that bill, that didn't really close up some of the things that we needed to kind of correct, the things that we do. So I don't know. I think we've been talking about collective bargaining behind closed doors for a long time, and I think that's certainly an option. I don't think it's nearly as clean as in the pros. Because we're not the pros. I mean, if it was just for college football, yeah, you could probably create that pretty not easily, but easier. But the rifle team and the soccer team and the tennis team, you have to talk to those teams differently than you do football and maybe men's basketball and some of the revenue sports. So it's very complicated. It's not an easy solution, but I do think if we could get the right people in the room and just decide that we're going to roll our sleeves up and spend a few weeks on this and get it fixed, I think we could do it. I really do. But never really thought that maybe that federal intervention was the right path to go anyway. And even if the bill gets passed, I mean, do you really want the federal government, in the ins and outs of your industry every day?
The thing that concerned me the most.
You want the federal government in the ins and outs of anything.
No doubt.
But when one of the writers of the bill was on Andy Staples' podcast, and they asked him, if this passes, who enforces it? He didn't know.
Yeah.
He didn't have an answer. And so we've been talking about that.
You've been. I zone out when
and affirm me sometimes anyway, but it never felt like that was the best path forward, although that's easier said than done, of course.
No doubt.
Now that you're sharing revenue and doing all of those things, you're having to find alternative revenue streams. We're hearing from fans, if we know you are, about fatigue and being up against the end of their line financially. For a fan listening right now that has that feeling, what would you in the administrative position say to them?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with them. I mean, we think and talk about this a lot internally, as we talk about ticket prices and donation prices and those type of things. So, it's a tough balance because, I think those same donors would also say we want rosters like we have this year. We want rosters that have, Heisman candidates and All-American candidates and those type of things. So, finding that right balance is hard. And the current model, just candidly isn't sustainable. I mean, what we're doing, we're seeing these markets every portal cycle go up 50 and 60%, and it's not possible. I mean, if that happens in this football portal cycle, you're going to have an $80 million roster somewhere.
Jeez. And then you're going to start getting close to the NFL salary cap at that rate.
No doubt. And that's where, football there's probably less than 5 to 10 programs in the country where football's profitable at that stage. I mean, even at Texas and Ohio State and some of those places, you start to butt up on, now with the operational expenses and the roster expenses, you can't make enough revenue to even that out. So it's certainly not sustainable for a large group of P4 schools and the top 5 or 6. At some point, they're even going to say, hey, we can't keep this up. So that's where we as the administrators, we as the adults in the room have got to figure it out at some point if we're going to keep going.
So as I was saying earlier, there's these stories that frustrate fans. We talked to Jeremy McClain, we talked to Zach Selman. We asked them, what's going on at your university that excites you right now? What's the good news for your university? So what is it at Ole Miss? We already know about the football team. What else is going on here?
Well, I think just the one thing is that the brand is just stronger than it's ever been. I've been traveling a little bit this summer, and if you wear the Ole Miss shirt, you're going to get a hottie-toddy no matter where you are. So I think that's really good. You look at the demographics of people that are coming in the freshman class. They're from all over the country. It's a national brand, and I think that certainly, we talk about it a lot. Athletics is not the most important thing in for the institution, but we are a lot of times the most visible. So we're proud of our role in that and what we've been able to do and get that logo out on national TV a lot throughout all of our sports. But Chancellor Boyce has done a tremendous job in his time at Ole Miss of really kind of rallying the troops. So everybody's pulling the rope in the same direction, and so we just got to keep that going. So there's a lot of positives, and I told our staff last week we had a staff retreat. We get kind of in this hole and start working through all the minutia of all of this stuff, but man, we're sold out this year. There's a lot of great things happening in college athletics too, and ultimately we got 425 student athletes that are fantastic and awesome at what they do. So a lot of really good positives that sometimes I think get overlooked because of some of the other stuff that's going on.
This might be a better question for Chancellor Boyce, but you mentioned the volume of students from out of state, and there's just like this wave of northern students trying to come south to major universities. Do you guys at the athletic department talk about trying to get them to connect, like doing something special, kids from New York or California or wherever coming here that didn't grow up an Ole Miss fan or didn't grow up an SEC fan, to connect them to your department, or is that all from a university side?
No, we do, and I don't know that we necessarily target state by state, but we, the freshman class coming in, we do tons of things with interaction with them and talking about all the things we have to offer in athletics. I think what you find a lot is the parents become huge fans. They buy condos, and when the students leave, the parents stay, and so we're seeing a ton of that too. So we get engaged with them as far as selling season tickets, premium areas and suites and those type of things. So we definitely have a handle on that. But yeah, it just continues to grow. Obviously, we love our in-state students as well, but man, it's just been awesome to see the growth, across the board.
Keith Carter, Director of Athletics here at Ole Miss. I'm sorry.
Easy.
My bad.
Did you almost say Mississippi?
I almost said Mississippi State. So that would have been even worse. So, hey, tell Walker Jones to put together a package for me. I'll have my people over there. I'll have him look at it, and we'll see what we can do.
Just give me your credit card. We'll put it on a monthly withdrawal.
Done. No. The other way around. That money's coming to me.
Oh, coming to you.
I got to talk about the package.
I gotcha.
When we come back, Javon Patterson is going to join us, former Ole Miss Rebel legend, now working within the football program, working within the university. We enjoy talking to him in just a minute. Back in just a minute. It's the Not Fall Camp Tour here in Oxford, presented by Pearl River Resort.
From the Seabrook Paint.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. This is Sports Talk Mississippi, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi from the library in Oxford. Not Fall Camp Tour, stop number 3. I'm Michael Borkey. He's Brian Hadad. Now we're sitting with Javon Patterson.
I was just going to say, as far as our not fall camp branding, today is the worst day of it.
The worst.
Like, I parked on the other side of the square. Yeah. And just walking this way, I was like, I defy someone to call it fall camp right this second. We're boiling out there.
It is boiling, man. I asked one of my former teammates there, I was like, bro, how did we used to do this back in the day? Like, we're telling these guys, hey, let's push through.
Yeah.
Like, it's just rough.
So, you played great in college. You spent time in the NFL as well. Is this the point of training camp, that do you turn miserable, or did you love every second of it? Like, what was the point where you stopped loving practice?
Man, as an athlete, you can't never stop loving practice. You got to find the juice to get through it, but the days get long. It's about that 2.5 week mark. You're like, okay, I'm ready to go get somebody else. You know what I mean? I'm ready to get through and get to game week. But you try to just keep pushing. As long as you got a great group of guys that keep getting you along, and great coaches and stuff like that you get through.
So I'm gonna ask you this, because when we were at SEC Media Days, we had a great conversation with Will Stein, who's the head coach of Kentucky. Just asked him off the cuff, who's the best high school football player you ever played at. He gave us a great story about this guy. He's like, he wasn't even on the scouting report. Nobody cared about him. We're not worried about that guy. It was Luke Kuechly. So you see where he went with that.
Yeah.
Petal High School, Petal Panthers. Who's the best high school football player Javon Patterson ever went up against?
Man,
you got some good ones to choose from.
I'm gonna be real with you. The best one in high school would be Fletcher Adams. Fletcher and his brother from Brandon. Yeah, they were the best high school athlete I went through. If we get to the college level, I'm gonna definitely say Jeffrey Simmons. Yeah, Jeffrey Simmons we had a dogfight every time we played each other. Yeah. But he was by far that best player. But high school would have been Fletcher and his brother.
Okay.
Yep.
There's a sentiment that offensive linemen are harder and harder to find. That there's not that many of them. It's a harder position to develop. Why do you think that is? Or is that even true?
I don't think it's true. I think it's finding the best collective group that you have. We have some very top tier players. I mean, you think of Larry Tunsil, he's a game changer as they talk about it. But finding a good group that can gel together, that can communicate, and make that makes the best O-line. You know what I mean?
Is that why we're seeing in this portal era, the teams that have the most success are the ones that can recruit linemen out of high school, keep them on campus for 3-4 years, let them develop that chemistry and gel. Like you said, it seems incredibly tough to put together an offensive line out of the portal each and every year.
Yeah, it is, from my opinion. I think it is. I think having that core group, being able to recruit them, be able to gel them in, in the portal, find some young guys to keep them here for a couple of years. I think that makes the best impact on the team. And over the last couple of years, we had some great guys, and be able to play 2 or 3 years together. So that's been really good, especially this year. We got our middle 3 returning that played very, very well for us. So it's really good to have that camaraderie going in.
So what does that mean? The interior 3, guard, center guard, all back.
Yep.
Can you explain how valuable that is to a football team?
It's very valuable. I take back to my time when I played. You had me, Sean Rawlings, Jordan Sims, Alex Given, people that played together for at least 3 to 4 years. So that was really cool to see. But now you got this group. You got Bryson Sanders, you got Patrick Kudis, you got Delano Townsend, 3 veteran O-linemen who played a lot of snaps last year, and played at valuable times. I mean, we played, in the playoffs and going into that. So having them back, and then, getting the tackle guys to come in with them. One guy who was here and one guy who, a couple guys who came in through the portal. It's just very, very important to have that piece going into the fall camp.
So go ahead, Hayden.
I was going to say, so before we started talking, I asked you, what's your official title? It's too long. I've already forgotten.
Yeah.
Never mind the title. What do you do here at Ole Miss?
So beforehand, we was on the show last year, and I was working in the foundation doing development and former student athletes. I've then got a promotion, so I work under our senior associate athletics director, Matt McLaughlin, in our strategy and cap management. So again, what that means is me and Matt and I's job is to make sure that we're helping Keith out on this revenue sharing side and working alongside with Walker Jones and the collective to make sure that the coaches get the best athletes that they do and find a new revenue for the athletics.
And so essentially you have to sit down, you get whatever the budget is. What was the set? Was it $22 million, $25, something like that? The House settlement allowed you guys to use.
Around there.
And then you've got to figure out and talk with the coaches and the ADs and everybody to figure out what sport gets what.
Yep.
And then after that happens, you've got to go to the coaches and figure out what player gets what. It sounds like a mess.
Matt, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna brag on my boss here. He's done a great job because he was in his role before he brought me over too. He's done a great job of setting out a clear kind of when I say clear program, just to get the guys and the coaches going to the coaches meeting, get them to understand everything that's going on, and so I wouldn't say it's a mess. We got a pretty good structure in place. As you can see, the Ole Miss winning is contagious around here. So having that plan going in with the coaches and things like that has been good for us.
Does your experience in the NFL dealing with true contracts, true cap, that kind of stuff, how much does that help you in this?
It's been great for me. It's been great to bounce ideas off Matt as well, but also being able to relate to the players as they're going through a tough process in their brain as well, to be able to talk to their representations and things like that. So it's really helped out, playing in that time and knowing the ins and out of that, and where we're at in college football today, helping them out and understand them to make it efficient for them to play, and then make it efficient for them from a business standpoint as well.
I feel like one of the reasons Ole Miss has been successful in this era, especially, is there's a lot. I like to use a corporate buzzword here, but there's a lot of synergy. From the chancellor to Keith Carter to the coaches to the staff to the fan base. It feels like Ole Miss, more than almost any other school in the SEC, moves forward together.
Yep.
Do you feel that from your position? Most
definitely, man. It starts from like you said, the top. From Chancellor Boyce to Keith. Keith bringing me on a couple years ago. I tell people all the time, man, just his vision for Ole Miss athletics and what he's done and the aggressiveness that he's had and the people that he's put in position. It's been great. I mean, you start to see it from the coaches, and winning is contagious, man. You start to see softball World Series, basketball Sweet 16, playoff football, different things like that, man. So it's been really good to see that, and also just having former players come back in. I know we talk about football a lot, but Coach Beard's brought some people back in, and then Pete having those guys around like Metcalf, Dante Moncrief, Woodson, B. Brown. I think, like you said, the synergy of it, man, it just means more, especially when you're doing it with intentional and authenticity.
Now we're looking at a football season. You mentioned the last time we talked to you was right before they played Tulane right here in Oxford. You've been able to watch this team in practices that none of us can see. They had a scrimmage on Sunday. Yeah, tell us everything. But truly, does this look like a team that can get back to that exact same spot this year?
We're gonna take it one game by a time, but my confidence.
He opens his mouth and Pete Golding's voice just comes out of it.
Look, we're one game at a time, but this team has put in a lot of work. As you can see, we've Pete Golding and his staff has put together a premier team, and they've been working day in and day out, and very excited on what they can do this year.
So we'll go one game at a time in some ways, but we're about 1 month away from the biggest game of the year with LSU coming in. What's the most, in terms of atmosphere, pregame, hype, however you want to look at it, the most intense game you ever played in college?
Man, intense game. I'll give you two. So, number one, I was a freshman starting at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and we won that game in 2015. That was crazy. I mean, we're looking across. I tell you this story all the time. Reggie Ratcliffe looking across from me. He's telling Chad Kelly, he's like, "Hey, I'm going to get you." I mean, this is my, I think, third game of the season.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold up, man. This is crazy. I done played 2 games already now, so I'm like, okay, this is real. Then we go into Florida. We go into the swamp, and it's like nighttime. It's swampy weather. It's raining and foggy. And that place is just roaring. I mean, it was unreal, and they ended up beating us. But those 2 environments were pretty crazy.
But not the personal that it's going to be like this game with LSU, though, right?
Yeah, it wasn't like that. I mean, you can put the personal stamp on it, but the people have done what they've done, and now we move on. Now we play football. This is where we at.
That's the thing. Yeah, as people forget, it's like once the whistle blows, everything else doesn't matter. It's about what happens between the whistles.
It's what happens between the whistles. So people talk about all the time, spot the ball. I think that's a mindset that we have around all of athletics. But let's just put the ball down. Let's do what we do best and play ball.
I bet the answer is nobody. But was there ever a player that you went up against that you feared? That was like, oh no,
fear's a strong word.
This guy's in front of me. Oh no, did that?
Nah, it wasn't nobody I never feared. People weren't respected. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, you think about it, man. Like I said, Jeffrey Simmons. I mean, Myles Garrett sliding to a 3 technique. You know, at that Texas A&M stadium. Yeah. Who else?
But he didn't play well that night, did he?
Yeah, we had Laramie in there. He came back and locked them up. But I
was going to give you credit for that. He slides down to a 3, and you didn't let Myles Garrett get to Bo Wallace.
I can't lie. He gave a little pressure on me. You know, they say the eye in the sky don't lie. I can't lie about that one. He gave a little pressure to me.
Would Javon Patterson, the player, have liked to have played for Pete Golding, the coach?
Oh yeah, man. I would have loved to play for Pete. Pete's man. Keith mentioned it earlier, man. He's as real as you get. I think just his authenticity and intentional about what he does, and just being a people person, man. I think you read a lot of people, and he can read a lot of energy from people, and it's just contagious energy, man. It's just something you want to be around, something you want to play for.
I just think it's so smart, and Ole Miss does it, State does it, a lot of schools do it, to bring players like Javon back into positions like this, because my guess is if I pick up the phone and I'm an Ole Miss fan and I hear, hey, it's Javon Patterson, I'm probably a little more receptive than I would be if I was just whoever on the other end of that line.
I mean, it get like that sometime. I tell the story, when I was in development, people reaching out, they'd be like, hey, what Javon's calling for? You know what I mean? Is this real? You know what I'm saying? But it's been great, man. I've been blessed with Ole Miss Athletics, and thanks to my Keith Carter and Matt, Denson Hollis.
We really appreciate you stopping by. This was great. Again, we're going to have to keep doing this. I mean, if this year's anything like last year, we'll see you in December.
That's it. We're going to see you again.
Former Ole Miss and NFL offensive lineman Javon Patterson joining us here live at the library. Sports Talk Mississippi. We'll be back in just a minute.
There's only 3 things that show taxes, debt, and trouble. Oh, this I know, baby.
In the Venable.
Hey, guys!
What's happening?
What the heck are you doing?
Sports Talk Mississippi on your radio and in the game. Sports Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi at the library in Oxford. Good energy in here for a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, all 3 stops we've made, for Tuesday afternoons especially, have been quality. Like the atmosphere at Sully's in Hattiesburg was great. Last week at the Landing in Starkville, fantastic. And here at the library again. Want to give big thanks to our friends at Pearl River Resort for once again sponsoring the Not Fall Camp Tour. We have enjoyed doing it, and we will be happy to do it again next year. This is to us, we have media days. And everybody says, that's the unofficial start of the college football season, right? But you and I get 3 more of those where we get to go around to our state and talk to people, see our fans, and it's fantastic. And it gets you. I really am ready.
This guy, see our fans. See our fans.
Great fans.
I know.
They love us.
They do. Well, mostly you, but.
It's true.
There is a few that tolerate.
There are a few Borkamaniacs out there.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But no, having a lot of fun. I'm really excited to see what the Vaught Hemingway renderings look like. I was hoping he'd say, renderings are coming out next week, but red tape. And could you imagine how frustrating the red tape is when you've got, hey, you picked your contractor, you know what you want them to do, everything's done. And now I got to go to this board to get approval. Now I got to go to this board. Now I got to go to this board. Now I got to do this. That's got to drive you nuts, because I'm sure it looks phenomenal and they're ready to go, but got to cut through some red tape first. A lot of people have been asking about that. When's that project going to start? What's it going to look like?
Yeah.
They're moving forward, as he said.
He said. That's on the way.
I need more pull around here, because what I was really hoping for was him just pull out his phone and be like, here it is.
Yeah.
This was going to look like.
Richard probably could have made that happen.
I don't know about that. I don't know. But, hey, Dad, did you look at the Progressive logo on the field?
I did not.
So
Progressive.
I know, right?
At Ole Miss.
Well, hey, more on Mornings with Richard Cross. I don't know if
that's very subtle looking at it.
It's very subtle.
It's not off-putting. The colors work with what the Ole Miss color scheme. It doesn't. it's inoffensive, shall we say?
A minimally invasive logo. They did a nice job.
It's one of those where you're like, if you're watching the game, it will not stand out to you. Unlike the Monster Energy one.
Yeah, the
Monster Energy for the Big 12 games is really noticeable, especially when we get to basketball. That's going to be really bad, but the that one for that is fine.
It is absolutely fine. Don't know the dollar amount. It was reported, though, by friend of the program, Ben Portnoy, that Ole Miss and Georgia...
More than a friend. Family
on this show. It's the same amount.
Yeah. Well, that's what Keith said, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's really important. It's just for validation as a program. And look, there's a lot of schools. I mean, Purdue's on it.
I was surprised at the schools that were on there, because Ole Miss is like the third best school on there behind like Georgia and Southern Cal.
Syracuse was one.
I would put Ole Miss obviously ahead of Syracuse.
Yeah. So I'm curious what else the deals could look like. If there's anything additional, like Boise State has to do a lot more than Georgia has to do.
Last week
like
had
that.
some traction on the Mississippi State boards, and they were agreeing with you about how if Mississippi State might be selling low. If they went this year, maybe they should let this year ride out, see what happens with Camario, and if they're better, maybe they can get a better deal next year. That actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So I got on the board and I was like, hey, don't validate that guy.
I'm sure they promise never to do that again, too. I am almost certain of that. We are inching closer to the start of the season, by the way.
It is. Yeah, next week. Week 0.
Next week is week 0, and you'll hear on my conversation coming up with Pete Golding. He gave a really interesting answer when I asked him about Louisville prep, and he said, you don't want to overdo prep. You don't want to over prepare necessarily, but he's like, there's a lot of things that we'll do at practice that are preparing for Louisville, and the team doesn't really know. It's just, hey, we're working on this concept today, and sure enough, that is
next week is kind of when teams slide into game prep a little bit. But that said, you're right. I would imagine it's true in Starkville and Hattiesburg as well. Is they're just like, let's run this drill here. Offense, why don't you line up like this? And defense, why don't you line up like this? And then what they're doing is they're putting in the game plan as we speak.
Yeah, where's it coming from, Coach? Yeah, it's just what we're doing today.
I just had a wild hair. Yeah. I just thought this would be a good idea.
So coming up in the next hour, we've got that conversation with Pete Golding. You'll hear it in the first 2 segments of the show. He gave almost 17 minutes of his time right after practice today to me. It's a great conversation. I don't think he said right.
No. That's a huge upset.
It's crazy. Although, if there's children in the car, there's a couple. All right. They're not bad. They have been said by us on this show.
Okay.
There's no F's in the.
Is there an S?
Okay. There's an A. There's 2 A's.
A is acceptable.
A is okay.
A is absolutely acceptable. A-okay.
But we talked about Trinidad, his team, calling plays, and then I got him to talk about his playlist and his.
It's just one song. It's an 8-hour long widespread panic song.
See, that was the upset of the century. I'm not going to spoil it, but I guess I kind of did. No, widespread. That's on Pete Golding's playlist.
That's a huge upset.
That conversation, Chris Malloy as well joining us in the next hour. Sports Talk Mississippi from the library in Oxford. Not Fall Camp Tour. Pearl River Resorts putting it on. And we're so glad that you guys are with us. When we come back, my conversation with Ole Miss head coach Pete Golding.
Junction, in the Grove, and to the top. Don't hurt yourself. Sports Talk Mississippi on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi from the library in Oxford. It's the Not Fall Camp Tour brought to you by our friends at Pearl River Resort. For the College Football Fix, here is my conversation I had just earlier today with Ole Miss head football coach Pete Golding. Part number 1 right now. Not Fall Camp Tour, Sports Talk Mississippi from the library in Oxford. Happy to be joined now by Ole Miss head football coach Pete Golding. And Coach, I want to start with something that you said back in the spring that kind of made me laugh. You said that after becoming a head coach, your trips to the grocery store are a little bit different. What is something that you didn't expect about being a head coach that you've really enjoyed?
I mean, I think the biggest thing that I've enjoyed the most is like the ability to affect other people's lives. Like, you've always looked at that as a coach for the players and creating opportunities for them and their family. But, for me, from a coaching perspective, it kind of hit home for me when I was able to bring some of these former, Ole Miss Rebels back and what it meant to them and their family to have the opportunity to be able to come back and the impact that it made for them and their kids and all that. And before, I never really looked at it that way. I always looked at it as a job when you bring in a new coach and things like that because, most of the time it wasn't their alma mater and they hadn't invested so much, in that place over the years. So I've really enjoyed being able to bring people back that want to be here, that are really good at their job, and not only the smile on their face, but more importantly, when their wives and their kids come up here, just the impact that it has on their family, I probably enjoy the most, to be honest with you.
And now you're, in the dog days of training camp, this is a softball for you. Have you guys accomplished to this point what you were hoping you would as a team?
Yeah, I think for the most part, obviously when you have 50 new guys, you want to put them in it and, kind of put the fire on them a little bit and see what they got. So I think up to this point, we try to simulate, as much in-game situation things that we possibly can. And some guys have stepped up. Other guys are continuing to improve and need to continue to improve, to be honest with you. But I think up to this point, we've stayed pretty healthy. Got a lot of in-game work. I think the summer helps you a lot now, what you're able to do in the summer. So the packages, you're so much further along from an install standpoint than normal, which allows you to be able to focus on some other teams throughout fall camp to kind of get ready for the fall. So I think up to this point, I think the kids have worked extremely hard. I think it's a really good group. I think they're tough. I think they're competitive. I think they love football. We're not where we need to be yet, but I think that you're seeing the flashes. I think the biggest thing for us right now is the consistency in their performance isn't where it needs to be. And I think most games are a loss, not won. And, we're coming off of a scrimmage on Sunday to where you go through those 19 drives, whether it was an explosive play on offense or a negative yardage play on defense, it wasn't because it was a contested play. It was because it was a bust or a mistake. So those are the things right now that we really got to clean up, before we play a really good Louisville team.
Something that I've heard you say a lot is you have to find guys that love football and not what football can do for them. How do you sniff that out?
I think that's really big on how you talk to recruits. I think when you bring them in from an official visit standpoint, it's not the old school whining and dining and putting them up in the best hotels and the best restaurants. We grind them and we put them in through a lot of football intelligence meetings and go through their tape and installs and make them regurgitate it to us and, get them around our players. So I think a lot of it's how you recruit them, to be honest with you. I think a lot of times you don't really try to find that out. You're just trying to win the recruiting battle, and win signing day instead of really feeling out, is the kid a good fit for us? Is he a good fit for our team? And I think if you don't incorporate your current roster into that, I think that's really hard because I could have a perspective of who the kid is from a football standpoint, but I still think he's got a gel in the locker room. And I think that, this group that we brought in for the most part has been able to do that.
Earlier, had a chance to visit with John Wayne Oliver as part of this conversation, and he pointed to that, the adversity that the team faced last year, at the end of last year, as a contention point that allowed them to come together. You've referenced that before as well, that you've got a team that seems to really like each other. Is that something that you guys as coaches emphasize and they're responding to, or is that more of an organic thing that the players have to do themselves?
I think it's a combination of both, but I also think, it's who you put in there. And so, like, when I'm talking about them being together and playing together and enjoy competing with each other, it's not that they got to listen to the same music or they wear the same clothes or they go to the same restaurants. Like to me, that's not it. It's I've got the same goals and aspirations and I invest the same and it means the same to me. And it's about winning football games regardless of my role. So I think it's more mentality, and a little bit of personality, but much more mentality than actual personality. And I think the guys respect when guys come in and work their ass off and realize they got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason and come in and figure it out and work their butt off. And when their opportunity comes, take advantage of it. So, I think we have more of those guys than not. And I think our returners respect that.
Speaking of returners, you've got one of the most high-profile ones in all of college football. The flags are all over town. He's getting put on Heisman lists and all these things. How do you think that your quarterback has responded to, just the intense amount of attention that he is receiving going into this season?
I think he's taking it in stride. I mean, obviously the good thing was he had a heck of a year last year, and he got a lot of that attention going into the playoffs, so he's had to go into the Sugar Bowl games with the spotlight on him and still have to play at a high level, in which he did. But he's a unique dude. I think he keeps his focus where it needs to be. He knows this is a what have you done for me lately sport. And those same guys that put him on, Heisman hopefuls and all that will be the first ones to burn his ass down too. So, he knows he's got to put that work in, and he knows he needs to have a really good year, and that's just sticking to the process and getting coached by Joe Judge and JDB and, operating our offense and continue to be a really good dude, which he has been.
And I have a feeling I know what the answer to this is going to be, but you were ranked preseason number 9. How much do you care about that?
Ranked number 9 in what?
In the AP poll, preseason number 9.
Oh, I think all the preseason stuff, to be honest with you, I think it goes back to last year's team's legacy. And I think that team, earned, the right for us to be where we are now. Just like these players that played really good years last year and had exceptional years are on potential, Heismans and Biletnikovs and all those different awards. I mean, that's based on last year. And I think you go back and historically look at the preseason top 25 and look at the playoffs, and it don't look the same. And so I think this group understands that, that we got to go out and make sure that we're ranked where we're ranked at the end of the year, not the beginning of the year. And that's by going out and preparing really well and practicing really well and playing really well. So I think that's an honor to last year's team and the culture that's been created over the last 3 years of them being in it at the end. But this group knows they've got to build their own legacy, and right now we're 0-0.
You mentioned them a second ago. Your season opener, also a team that is starting the season ranked, a really well-coached and good Louisville program. Have you guys started preparation for that game, and what do you know so far about your Week 1 opponent?
Yeah, and they're a really talented football team. I think it's really helped us, to where, they beat the team that, we played last, and we did not win the game. And so, I think from January on, they realized that we're playing a really, really good football team that, if they didn't lose the one possession games that they were up in the fourth quarter last year, they would have been in the playoffs. And Coach Brown does an exceptional job. I think they have an elite running back. So they got really, really good players, brought in a really good quarterback that's got experience from Ohio State, and he's a dual threat guy. So we know this is like opening up with an SEC team and on a neutral site, and with a coach with a lot of experience. So they're definitely not getting overlooked. I think training camp early is about learning our packages, and realizing we've got to get our stuff down, and we've got to execute at a high level regardless who we're playing. But then also you're building in periods really without them knowing, to be honest with you, to start working on some things that are potentially going to come up in the first game, because you don't want your focus to go on that too early. They're going to get our undivided attention, and we'll go through a mock game week and do all those type of things. But, right now we're trying to make camp about us and us focused on the attention to detail and doing things right and performing a little more consistently and playing championship football. So they definitely have our full attention. We did some in the spring. We did some in the summer as a staff, as you always do everywhere I've ever been. And then you obviously build in and sprinkle in some group teaches as you go. And you just really don't let the players know, to be honest with you.
I'm a big NFL fan. I'm a Saints fan. I watch the league every Sunday. Head coaches calling plays is very normal in the NFL. And in fact, when you hire a coordinator, you expect them to. Media jokers like me make a lot out of head coaches in college calling plays. What did you learn about yourself having to do both in those 3 playoff games that allowed you to continue to do that this season?
Well, I know what you shouldn't do for a couple times, but no, I think it was a really good learning experience because you get so used to your point of doing it a certain way, because you don't have other responsibilities, and that's really trying to figure out, okay, who within the building can handle some of those other ones, and what were you doing on defense that you also have somebody in the building that can do, and maybe you can't go sit on the bench in between drives like you used to, and little things like that. So. I've talked to a lot of guys that have done it at this level because it is a little different, not only in game, but more importantly, when you're not in game, from the recruiting component of it and how you watch all the tape and how you're still, managing the offense, to a somewhat of a degree. So I kind of banged, a lot of different ideas off of guys that have done it, but definitely, going through those 3 games has helped me as far as in-game operation of time management and things like that, and then kind of how to handle when's the offense out compared to when the defense is out. So, having those 3 games, I think will really help going into game 1.
And how much
sports. This is Sports Talk Mississippi.
Sounds good.
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi from the library in Oxford. It's the Not Fall Camp Tour brought to you by our friends at Pearl River Resort. I'm Michael Borkey. He is Brian Hadad. So you heard part one of my conversation with the head football coach at Ole Miss. I mean, he was just fresh off the practice field and was going right back into it the second we got done. So here is appreciate, of course, his time and Kyle and Brad at Ole Miss for making this happen. It was a great conversation. The first part was really good, and I hope you guys enjoy part number 2 coming your way right now.
And how much do you lean on? So you've got 3 by my count, maybe more, former head coaches, one at the D2 level, one at the FBS level, one at the NFL level. How much do you bounce off of those guys in particular who have been a head coach, run programs at 3 different levels?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, we try to use everybody in the building. I'm really specific on, the hiring process, no different than an offense or defensive depth chart. They got to be able to complement what you already have in the building and what value do they bring. So, definitely have a lot of sit downs with a lot of those guys, from a scheduling standpoint, from a recruiting standpoint, from ideas, and all those things. And, the good thing about a lot of them, some of them have had success doing it and some of them haven't. And that's, I think sometimes you learn from your biggest failures, at least, looking at it. So, really fortunate to have a lot of guys that have had that experience, sitting in the chair I'm at that are open and aren't yes sir guys that are going to come in and voice their opinion, which, they were told, from the very beginning, this is something that, hey, come in, shut the door, let's get it right, and all our jobs are on the line week in and week out. So let's make sure we're doing everything that we need to. So I really appreciate those guys for sure.
We've seen a lot of your defensive line play already in their current uniforms. Your linebacker room is basically all new, but they have played a lot of football. What do we need to know about Thomas and Forelli and the other guys in that linebacker room?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of by design what we do defensively is we try to kind of make the ball go east and west, and you want to be able to have erasers at the second level that can play sideline to sideline. And I think, those 2 guys are long. They got speed. But they're really good trackers and finishing on the ball carrier. And I think that's something that we definitely have to have in this system and in this league. And it's really nice when they've already had experience doing it at this level. And that's what I love about those 2. They don't panic. There's not a lot of anxiety there. They've adjusted to the system, having them in the spring and the summer. It's like that you've had them for a while by this point. So, really like those 2. I think Tajay Butler's had an elite spring and elite fall camp as well. Another guy that you're talking about that's got college experience at the position. And then we got some of those young guys that I think are developing and coming along. So, really excited about, those 3 being able to rotate. I think they would all start at any SEC school they went to be very productive because they got some good players in front of them.
You've done a handful of press conferences already, interviews and all that. Is there a player that you have yet to be asked about at all that we should be asking you about?
I mean, I think there's a couple of guys that are going to be elite players and have really good years that I've not been asked about, yeah.
Who would those be, or do you want to keep them a secret?
You didn't ask me. No, I mean, I think one to me, that I think is a really good football player. He's still getting better. He's got to continue to get better. But I think Edwin Joseph is as good of a defensive back that I've been around in a long time. He's got a lot of versatility, very quick twitched. He's got a knack for the football. But a lot of those transfer DBs, I think people will know who they are. They've got real ability. And then, I think we've added some elite pass rushers as well. I think y'all have talked to a couple of those guys, but, I think the depth up front and the rotation, I think you're going to hear a lot of names, from the front this year. And then we got to continue to improve in the back end, and they are. But I do think, nobody's ever asked me about Edwin, who I think, he reminds me of somebody I've coached before, and I'm not going to say his name.
All right, off the field, what is on the Pete Golding playlist when you're listening to music?
Oh, my God. Off the field music. So I do have, I think Braxton or Billy, one of my boys helped me with, a little playlist or whatever. I'm not a big playlist guy, but I got my little Pete Sunrise when I get up in the morning. But, on that one's, all country, man. It's Eric Church. It's Morgan Wallen. It's all country. It's just slow, chill, get me started. I enjoy that type of music.
So you've got tickets to Ella Langley coming up then is what I'm hearing.
I do not. I think it's a pretty busy week, bro.
Just a few things going on in Oxford. You brought up your kids. What do they think about Dad, the head coach?
I mean, obviously they love more access, right? And they love when Ken walks by, they get more gear and stuff like that. But, they've always been super involved, since we've come over here. Coach Kiffin, I was really appreciative of that. He allowed them to be around a lot and all those type of things, and it's nice during camp because you kind of alternate. We go AM day and then we do a PM day. So they can come to the practices at night and all that because once we get in the season, we practice while they're in school. But I would say the access to it more than anything. They really enjoy being up here, not feeling like they're in the way and all those type of things. So they're high on the hog right now.
I don't imagine you have much time between being a dad and being a head coach, but when you want to completely unwind, disconnect, I'm not doing anything football related, what do you do?
Like non-football, I'm a golfer, man. Like I enjoy getting out like on a golf course out in the middle of nowhere, around some good dudes you enjoy being around because you're still competing, right? You still keep score. There's other things you can do while you play golf as well, but I enjoy being out in nature, man, and still competing. So my thing, man, is dad, is ball, and then to me, if I have some time, it's either golfing with my kids or fishing, probably, to be honest with you.
So have you and Jeff Levy played, again, I heard that at Media Days. Is that true that you and the Mississippi State head coach have played golf together? And if so, who's better?
There might have been an emergency 9 at Waverly, I'll let you ask him that question and see what happened that day. It was one game, so you'd hate to see it. And a big sample size, but I think the Rebs came on top that day.
Oh, I hear you. Well, Coach, I'll let you go. I really appreciate your time this afternoon. I know it's a busy time, and we wish you best of luck this season, and hopefully we'll catch up again down the line.
Awesome. Appreciate the job you do, man.
That's Ole Miss head coach Pete Golding. We'll be back. Sports Talk Mississippi, not Fall Camp Tour 2026. Not quite going to commercial, but I hope you guys heard that. I did. I know you heard that. That
he said that he appreciates the job you do.
That I do, not you do. Not.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Levy said the same thing to me. He was like, "Screw that guy, Borkey. Nobody cares about him."
I think Jeff Levy likes me a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he likes me some. Yeah, he's been around here, for a little while. And no, I'm kidding. That was great stuff from the Ole Miss head coach. And hey, Dad, I don't know if you heard it, but. He mentioned that country was his playlist. That's his thing. And I was like, you going to be at the Ella Langley concert? He goes, man, I got more important things to do that week than the LSU week when she's around. How can I get you to go to Ella Langley? I know you're an Ella fella. Well, that's what they call him, by the way.
I'll take your word for that.
You're an Ella fella.
You just got to get me some tickets, I guess. I mean, my daughter, I'm sure she would love to go. Give me two tickets. I won't go to the concert. I'll just drop them off and wait outside and I'll come to a place like this and just hang out until it's time to go home.
If I got you somehow, because I can't afford them, if I got somebody to give me floor tickets to Ella Langley, would you go? Because we'll be in Oxford that day for a show.
Yeah,
we will
sure.
be here.
Would
you go to? Yeah. Would you be an Ella fella and go watch?
I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
I think you would like her.
I mean, we'll give it a look.
And I'll join you at the Nate Bargatze show at the Hump in Starkville.
Well, he's coming here too, right?
He's coming here too.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're going to go to Ella Langley with me,
I'd rather you need. If we're going to do that, you're going to go to Hardy.
All right, we can do country shows.
Yeah.
Although I'm not a country fan at all.
Neither am I.
But we go live music is fun. It's a good time. But no. Enjoyed that conversation. Yeah, he is woolly on Edwin Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name? Dad, I asked a question. I think you'd appreciate the question of what is one player you've done all these press conferences and interviews that nobody has asked you about yet that should have? And he brought up the Florida State transfer specifically, and the line of scrimmage is where Miami was better than Ole Miss last season mostly, but there was a handful of third downs in that game, and other games too. The Georgia game was another one where if they had better safeties, they possibly win those games.
Yeah.
And they think between him and Jonel Aguero from Georgia that they've got guys that are fully capable of making plays that last year's secondary was fine, but they think that they have turned fine into
good to great to possibly like high level, specifically safety play. And if that's the case, then great. But Edwin Joseph was that guy at Florida State. He just left a program that, if you can believe that we're saying this, that's floundering right now. Florida State football is just not a program that anybody wants to stay in anymore.
No, why would you? It's a program that's down isn't even the right word.
That's wild that we can say that.
It's but the other side of that coin is it's a program that can quickly come back.
Certainly can.
I don't know that they've got the right guy in place right now.
Once they make a change,
they should be in a better spot.
Yeah. Speaking of Florida State, a guy that coached at Florida State, there's a nice transition for you. Chris Malloy, the head golf coach at Ole Miss, and speaking of programs on the rise, his has done just that. In his tenure, they have gone from just a program to one of the more recognized ones in the sport. We will talk to him right here at the library in Oxford when we come back. It's Not Fall Camp Tour, brought to you by Pearl River Resort. We'll be back.
From the Seabrook Bank.
Take the friggin' wax out of your ears. Did you hear me?
This is Sports Talk, Mississippi.
Woo! I say, sports fans.
Now, here's more on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. Getting close to the end of the Not Fall Camp Tour. It's leg number 3. I'm Michael Borkey. He's Brian Hadad. We're at the library in Oxford, joined now by the golf coach at Ole Miss, Chris Malloy, coming off of an SEC championship and just another highly successful year for your program.
Yeah, SEC championship sounds good. Has a nice ring to it.
Speaking of, where is it?
I know we ordered them, so we should be getting them in the next few weeks.
Is that something you're just going to keep in the bag? You just let somebody says something to you, like, hold on, let me get my ball marker out here.
Yeah, it's funny you'd ask. Here it is. Yeah, throw that on the green.
There you go.
Yeah, the yardage books. You know, every time you flip it up.
It's right there. Yeah, what happened?
They should give the coach rings, too, for individual national champions. Why is that not a thing yet?
We do, yeah.
You have one?
Yeah.
But nice.
We have 2.
That's what it should be.
Yeah.
Thornberry and then...
Thornberry and Lasasso, yeah.
Something that I've noticed, by the way, about your program with Jackson Suber, and I want to ask you about him specifically in a second, but every time, he's been on a kind of a tear lately, dramatically improved his future as a pro golfer, but when I moved to Mississippi in 2010, Ole Miss golf did not receive this treatment. Anytime Suber's on TV, there's Jackson Suber, got a great program up there in Oxford. That is the label that Ole Miss golf has now, and it did not always have that. How did you get there?
You're getting really good players to come through here and buy into a vision. Listen, none of it happens without the players and really elevating our program and to get them here again. They have to. We couldn't sell, when I got here in 2014, we really couldn't sell history. We didn't have a whole lot of it. So if it was between us and Georgia, us and Texas, whoever, you name it, Alabama just come off a couple of national championships. Those coaches would negative recruit us and say, well, if you want to be on the PGA Tour, why are you going to go to Ole Miss? Yeah. We had Jonathan Randolph at the time, but that was it. They had 5 and 6 and 7, if not more, tour players out there. So, we had to sell another vision and start somewhere and get those guys in here, have some success, and then, I think just now you're really seeing, the fruits of that labor. And the Jackson Subers, as you mentioned, the Braden Thornberrys, now the Michael Lasassos, now they're out there. And these are guys that, I got the job in 2014, 2015. That's when I was recruiting Jackson Suber. We're just now getting to a point that he's on TV, that you're hearing about him. He's leading the British Open after one round. So, we like to think all the hard work we've put in, over the last 12 years, but even 4 and 5 years ago, that seed was planted. And we're going to hear about those kids and the guys that we're bringing on campus right now. There's no doubt that we're going to have at least 1 or 2 PGA Tour stars that are currently on our campus now, but you're not going to hear those names, out there at a PGA Tour event for another 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Did you make the trip out?
I did not. It was close. Pete and I were actually down, had a donor event down on the coast, And we left Thursday. That's when he was leading after the first round. I went, okay, well, I know I'm not coming back till Saturday. This could get weird. And we kept watching it, and my agreement was, in my own mind was, okay, if he's in the top 3 after the third round, then I was just going to get on a plane and really, essentially go straight from there over and watch him. So it would have been a great problem to have, but ultimately he saved me from having to get on a plane that next morning.
So, we talk about coaching in football, and like the jump from high school football to the SEC football is just so tremendous, right? What is the jump like from high school golf to college golf?
Oh, I would think it's pretty similar with any other sports. I saw something out on social media, I think last week, that was breaking down the percentage, right? Number of high school athletes in football, all of the sports, and then that percentage that went on to play Division I golf, Division II golf, Division III, whatever it may be in football. And it was pretty similar, kind of across the board in terms of your percentages. In terms of the style of play, I think we make too much about it. They don't get up here and just hit it further all of a sudden or do whatever. It's still golf. They're just a lot sharper. So if you get a guy that's which we do have some pretty talented freshmen that are just stepping foot on campus this week. Difference between them and our All-American that's a senior, it's probably going to come down to things you really can't see. It's going to come down to hitting wedges just a little bit closer, putting it just a little bit better, just a more refined game. But it's a big leap.
Somebody gave me the idea earlier to do this on the air. So I've got a 6-year-old, and they told me to show you a video of his swing, and you evaluate it.
We're going to live evaluation
the
right
Biz Hub Swing Vision right here.
Let's roll.
This is a 6-year-old. What do you think?
Got to work on the grip. There you go. Look at him get through it. I like the celebration, right?
So the grip. What about the grip do I need to work on?
Well, I just think he's a little bit too upright. Get those hands a hair lower. Probably needs to step away from the ball just a little bit. See how high those hands are?
Mm-hmm. But for
a little bit more of an athletic position, which he obviously knows. You look at the way he gets through the ball. He's got great hand-eye coordination. You're right. You can't do that without being an athlete. So getting a more athletic position, that's it. He's close.
This is what we should have done. This is great, right? We should have gotten a video of me swinging a golf club and be like, all right, now talk about this guy.
Listen, I'm not a miracle worker, right?
You're not, no.
Hey, I can work with him.
Yeah, he's still got plenty of athleticism and years. Me, it's already a lost cause.
Yeah, so he'd be the class of 2038. So go ahead and put that on your radar.
Absolutely.
Class of 2038.
Listen, if we can get something on a napkin over here, we can get a deal done, right?
Yeah. We'll take a discount on NIL just to get him on the team. Okay, I'm not concerned about that. Right?
I like it.
He just wants a shirt. He just wants an Ole Miss golf polo. He'll call it. That's all you need.
Shark is what I want.
I know a guy.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast recently where, long story short, they were ranking sports, how sports you should get your kid into, and based on things like parent culture and how much is it going to cost, and do you get to do the sport your whole life? Golf was number one. Mm-hmm. Because if you're a golfer in high school, you can golf until the day you die, basically. We think about what travel sports have become? I know baseball is very controversial right now. It feels like golf is a sport that people should lead their kids into. I know you're going to say yes, but
well, I think so. I think you should lead them into all the sports and figure out which one they have a passion for and go through it. My son Cash just. I have him play anything that he wants to. He's gravitated more towards baseball and golf. But yes, to your point, it's something that you can play. You don't see a whole lot of people that are going out now in their 30s, 40s, 50s and playing basketball,
right?
And then playing football or doing whatever. Tennis you can. I think from a business standpoint, that's probably where I'd approach it a little bit more in relationship, standpoint. What other hobby, sport, anything that, can we do that you're going to have a 4 to 5 hour window to spend one-on-one with? Maybe it's your future boss. Maybe it's a future employee. Just any form of relationship it's a hell of a way to bond with somebody and get their attention for 4 to 5 hours.
I just want to say that Cash Malloy sounds like a Hollywood superstar name.
Well, listen, if he goes on and he's in the chess club or does something,
I'm just saying that if you
terrible,
told me that
then
in a couple of years that the new Captain America is Cash Malloy, I'll buy it.
Right,
that sounds like a superstar.
Solving crimes on TV every Sunday.
Yes.
Well, I did my part. His mom gave him the athletic ability, and I just gave him a good name.
There you go.
Mentioned Jackson Suber, and did you know at the time when you were coaching him that he would end up being what he became?
That's a great question. I knew he had a chance. From the time he came on campus to visit his first unofficial visit, he just did things that were a little bit different. He asked questions that were different than other junior golfers that separated him. Asked questions that made him want to sound like he wanted to be great. Golf-wise, they're all really good. He was a good enough ball striker. He was. It sounded different, coming off the club, especially when he hit an iron. We just always knew if he timed up his putting, he was going to be pretty tough to beat, and that's what he struggled with. I mean, he struggled with beginning of this PGA Tour season. Struggled putting, struggled short game, and then once he figured that out, that's when he got on a little bit of a heater and has done what he's done.
The question thing is funny because now he's got the nickname. I'm sure you've seen it.
The
Detective.
The Detective.
Because apparently on tour, as a young guy, he asks questions of every player and picks their brain like obsessively.
I saw Ole Miss legend Bunky Perkins tweeting about it. I had no idea what it was, so I'm glad I know now.
He wears them out. It's pretty good.
You brought in a bunch of new players. What can we expect from your team this year?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm looking to find that out over the next month. I've never had this much turnover. Just with you lost basically 4 All-Americans last year. And that's including Lasasso leaving mid-year. Tom Fisher, Cam Tankersley, and Cohen Trolio were great for us. All-Americans, and that's tough to replace. I'd be lying to you if I said anything different. This new group is really, really talented. We don't need to prance around like a show cat and figure it out. I mean, these guys need to get in there and work hard. And I like this group. It's going to be a lot more qualifying. There are going to be a lot more question marks. But I think it's a heck of a lot better opportunity to be able to coach. And that's why I got into it, is to make a difference. The last couple of years, not that I didn't feel that we made a difference in coach, but to take a young group and probably a group that a lot of people don't know what to expect, or maybe expect much out of us. That's kind of my style. I like that.
Coach of multiple individual national champions and SEC champion, head golf coach at Ole Miss, Chris Malloy. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
We'll wrap up the Not Fall Camp Tour when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi. Don't go anywhere.
Back to Sports Talk Mississippi.
Are you ready?
On the SuperTalk app, supertalk.fm, and always on your local SuperTalk Mississippi station.
We have traveled from one end of this state to the other. We have been to Hattiesburg. We have been to Starkville. We are now in Oxford. We are calling it a tour. It has been done, the Not Fall Camp Tour, presented by Pearl River Resort. Our last few minutes here at the library in Oxford. We have done everything we can do to get you ready for this college football season. Golden Eagle fans, Bulldog fans, Rebel fans, we have given it to you. Now, take and do with it what you will.
I'm so excited.
Well, yeah, it's college football.
But every year we're excited for football. And we've said this before, but it bears repeating. There have been years on this show, whether I was producing the show or talking on this show, that we have had football teams that we knew going into the season, they're not going to be good, and they're not interesting.
Right.
And we've had to kind of manufacture, it's football season, and yes, we love football, and we do love football.
We do a little bit more of that with basketball, but yes, you're right.
But we knew that, gosh, these teams are they're not going to be very good. That is not the feeling this offseason. Mm-hmm. Ole Miss has what we keep describing as a no-excuses roster. This is a roster that should win games, and a lot of them, at a high level. Mississippi State has the best thing for hype in the world, the shiny, new, impressive quarterback.
Yeah.
And Southern Miss is a new coach.
Well, Southern Miss is a new coach, and so much newness on the roster.
73 new players.
It just has to grab your attention in some way. So, week one, Ole Miss has a little bit more, pep in their step with week one with the matchup they have with State and Southern. It's a little bit different, but yeah, when we get to week 2 and week 3, it's on at that point. And, as we've been saying, we're 1 month. Tomorrow is 1 month away from Ole Miss LSU, and that is, without question, as we sit here right now, the first 3 weeks of the season, the biggest game in college football. Trinidad Chambliss, on 3 says, is the face of college football. There is as much positivity around what's going on here in Oxford as there has ever been, going back to the days of Johnny Vaught. So,
since before my father was born.
Yeah?
Truly. That's not hyperbole. I mean, truly, since before my father was born.
What year was Big James born?
65.
Yeah, you're right. You're correct then. So, this is the time of the year that optimism just kind of reigns supreme everywhere. Even the worst teams are trying to talk themselves into, if a few things go our way. But here in Oxford especially, you don't have to talk too hard.
No.
You just have to look at the roster and go, okay, yeah. And you're right. It is no excuse. But that is pressure. Pete Golding knows year one, hey, I got to show up. I got to deliver. These fans, there's a standard now where they expect us to be a contender for the college football playoff. They might expect us to be in the college football playoff. And, there was an Ole Miss fan on the board the other day who was like, I don't want to go to bowl games anymore.
No.
And I was like, man, that's a tough thing to say. But that's what Ole Miss fans are expecting right now. So that's pressure on Pete Golding in year one.
It's a lot of pressure on Pete Golding in year one. It helps when you've got the quarterback position figured out.
It doesn't hurt.
That certainly helps you. If Ole Miss was breaking induced night right now, we would. And he may end up being
if the
great
NCAA
down
thing
the
had
road,
gone the other way, and Ole Miss was breaking induced night, they'd still be good. Because I think Deuce Knight is a talented football player. Don't get me wrong. And having
Very
Lacey
talented,
and the players around him, they'd be fine. But it's different when you have when think pieces are being done on who is the best quarterback in college football, and your guy's at the very top of that. Yeah, that's something that nobody else in college football has.
I mean, you look at the sport over the years, and how many schools have had that guy at quarterback that have not competed at the highest level. Mm-hmm. I mean, I saw somebody reference, Texas A&M had Manziel, and they didn't go to the playoff. It's like, guys, do you remember that there wasn't 12 teams in the playoff?
Yeah.
When Manziel was at A&M?
It's totally different.
It's a different
there weren't
deal.
4 teams in the playoff when Manziel was at.
Yeah.
There was 2.
And
there was no playoff.
He would have.
Right.
So it just doesn't happen very often when you've got the position figured out.
12-team playoffs, I mean, Bo Wallace would have been in one. Dak Prescott would have been in one.
Yes and yes.
I mean, you could maybe make...
Chad Kelly would have been in one.
Could I have made a case that... who was the quarterback for Southern in the year they went 12-2? Was it Nick Mullins or was it Austin Davis? USM fans can let me know.
That was 2011, right?
I think that's Nick Mullins. He might have been in the playoffs, though.
Nick Mullins still in the NFL.
Yeah, he played the other day. He played for Jacksonville against the Saints. So
unfortunately, threw an interception.
Well,
but
it is
still
what it is.
He's 31 years old, still in the NFL, though.
So is that correct, then?
He was at Southern Miss from 13 to 16.
So then it's Austin Davis.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah. These guys are out there, and this is a year where, Ole Miss is going to be expected to be in the playoff. What is Mississippi State's role in college football this year? Can they be a spoiler? That's what the focus of tomorrow's Thunder and Lightning podcast is can State play 6 top 25 teams? Can they spoil a game for one of them?
I would take the over on 0.5 wins over one of those 6 ranked teams easily.
And then Southern Miss is like the ultimate X factor. Nobody really knows what's going on in Hattiesburg, but I know Blake Anderson is a winner. So
that's all he's ever done.
That can be good enough.
That's it.
But not really, because we're going to be on the road Thursday.
Yes,
we'll be live at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College for their annual Meet the Bulldogs Day. Always great to see our friends down there in Perkinston. For Borkey, for Houston McDavid, who makes it all happen, for any alums of the show that might be out there, we'll talk to you guys. There's at least one. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, 1 month to Ole Miss LSU. We'll talk about that game in great detail on tomorrow's show. The Nightfall Camp Tour is over, presented by Pearl River Resort.
That's all for you.
Later.
Oh, it's incredible!
Talk Mississippi Media Production.